Hey there, it's My Green Pets. I'm William Green. I am back after 10 days away, and although I can't show you the peak bloom of my Rex collection, this is shortly after, so I'm really happy to be able to come in and see several of my Rexes in bloom. The fragrance in here is nice. It's a real sweet rose fragrance, and let's just look and see which Rexes are in bloom. This plant was in bloom when I left. This was Cattleya, and Cattleya is done. Had really beautifully shaped and arranged flowers. They've fallen off. They're done. But unfortunately, I didn't really get to see this one bloomed out. This is Nina. First bloom for Nina. Ilyapu, also flowers fading. But these came out looking a little bit larger, so I might be keeping an eye on this plant for larger flowers. And then back here we have Orku. Orku is my largest plant. It does not have big flowers though. I think at this point I've had 4 different spikes bloom out on this plant, and all of the flowers have been pretty small, so I'm thinking this is not going to be a plant that produces big flowers, but it is a very strong growing plant. And you can see it's quite a monster. So still nice. And then down here we have Mayu's second bloom. And these are already kind of starting to fold up, but there's still some that are open. And of course, Mayu was awarded in June, and looking nice as well. So that's great. Inti's seed pod is growing. This is Inti by Mayu. Inti's got big flowers. Mayu has an award for shape, and I think Inti's flowers are even nicer than Mayu's. So that's going to be a great cross right there. Excited about that. And then check this out back here. Cattleya maxima, the Cattleya variety. 2 spikes with, it looks like 4 flowers on each spike. And once those get opened up completely, I will pull it out and we can really get a good look at it. Excited about those. It's also putting out new growth. This plant had a really ugly, looked like some kind of a fungal infection back in January, and or maybe it was a little later than that, but I don't see any evidence of it right now. I do see a leaf dying down here, so I'll keep an eye on that for suspicious looking spots. But it could just be that was where the cuts were made and it just kind of didn't survive that, so that's great. Hal, Bulbophyllum echinolabium, putting out another flower on this spike. And then he's got a new spike growing back here. You can't really see it very well, but it's pushing out pretty quickly. Probably going to run into the wall there. So I might have to turn him around. And then my Tillandsia, which bloomed earlier in the spring, look at the little babies coming out of it. I think there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 baby Tillandsias. That's wonderful. And then the other Tillandsia in here, the ball moss, Tillandsia ricovata, it's putting out a flower spike there. And that has pretty little blue flowers. So that's cool. This Tillandsia came out of Stephen Van Campen Lewis's backyard. He's got them growing on his trees. So I thought that was cool. I took one of those when I was down visiting him. The Catasetums look okay. Nothing really specially interesting to report other than leaves look good. Growth looks good. Happy with the new ones. The Jumbo World, which is my awarded Mormodia, getting about to be maximum size. Now this plant generally drops its leaves in October. So it's August now. August, September, October. It's got 2 or 3 months left, but I don't think it's going to put out a whole lot more leaves. You can see this looks like maybe a final leaf because it's smaller. And it might just be reaching full size, and then it's just going to start focusing on storing food and water in its bulb for oncoming dormancy. Really impressed with Vanda falcata. This was bloomed out for at least a week, if not more, before I left, and the flowers are still in decent shape. You can see there's a little yellowing and a little bit of a black spot there on one of them, so they're going to be fading soon, but they've lasted a really long time. Really excited about that. That's great. The seedlings also look really nice, putting out pretty little new growths, new roots. They've all been repotted into these little pots, and so far so good. Really excited about those. Especially excited about this one. This is one of those Daliana rositas. New growth, new roots, new root tips there on it. Really happy about that. Want to see these. Oh! Want to see this guy doing well. Come on, guys. Play nice. You know, one of the things I learned about orchids pretty early on was touch them as little as possible. They don't like it. They don't like to be touched. Alright, well that's just kind of a quick update. I wanted to let you guys see what I came home to. Bunch of blooming rexes. And there's one more back here. You can see she's just starting to open up, and that should be blooming in the next week and a half or so as well. So that will do it for Rex season this year. And then the next plant to bloom after all the Cattleyas, gosh, might be the Catasetums, and that'll be well into winter. The bulbophyllums normally would bloom in the fall, but because they were so heavily divided this year, I don't know if they're going to spike. They might need that energy to help them recover. Jumbo World typically, Signodia Wine Delight typically blooms in November for me, October, November, but it's such a small growth this year, I don't know if it's going to bloom. It also was really heavily divided, and this is the third back bulb, so might not get any blooms on that. So we might, after all these summer flowers, we might have a green collection for a while, which is fine. They are my green pets after all. Oh, and then one more, we've got this guy. This beautiful Phalaenopsis is opening up. Still got a few more to go, but I just love how they open up so beautifully. The arrangement is so nice on them when you just let them open up naturally. As long as they're not touching anything. Alright, that's it. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time right here on My Green Pets. I'm William Green. Bye.